Hello, I'm Benjamin Okoya Santuem. This is a this video is a walkthrough of an inventory program which is written in C++. And for this inventory program, it's a book inventory. So we are going to have some books being stored, and then also we can perform some actions on it. And then the book has to have a title, price, and quantity. And for this, we have two different books. We are having textbooks and then friction books. So first, I'm going to go in through the code we have here, with a little bit of explanations, and then finally I'll run the whole program so that we'll see how the program actually works. So first, we have a book header here, and in our book header we have a base class for all book types. So we have a title. A book will have a title, will have a price, will have quantity, and also we will have a constructor to initialize the book object. So which is taking string C, double P, and then integer Q. Like we have up here, title, price, quantity, and a virtual destructor, and also another virtual function. And lastly, we have a double get total value. This is just going to return something. So we can tell it to return anything we want. Say probably just print out something or do some calculations. So this is it for the book header, and then we'll look at the books.cpp. So here we are including our header here, our books header, and we can see the constructor here, and we're having our variables here saying that our string T is title, and then also double P is price, and quantity Q is and then int Q is quantity. And here we'll see how we are going to use the show information that we have here, which is a virtual function. So we are using this show information to display title, price, and quantity. And down here as well, with our other function as well, we are using it to return price and then quantity. And down here, we are getting the book's title as well. We are returning a book's title, sorry. So we have also same done for fiction books. Uh, I think this is the header for fiction book, and it also has to include the books because that's the base class for all the books. So here we are going to extend the what we have as the base class for the fiction book, sorry, by adding an author. So a fiction book will have an author. So we add it up here. So this is how we are implementing inheritance. And then down here we have our fiction book. So from the books base here, we are adding one extra to include an author for the fiction books. So that's how come we are having a string A here so that we can add authors as well. And here we are having our show info, sorry. So we'll go into the fiction books CPP, and then we can see we are including the header here, and then here we are telling it that A is author. So we are adding A as well to it, extending it with author. And here our show information, now you can see that we are not just displaying price and quantity like we used for the books, but now we've added more by also displaying like title and author as well for the fiction book. So we've covered both the book and the fiction book. So now I'll go into the main CPP. Okay, so I think we have textbook as well, which is the last one. Also, textbook here as well is inheriting from the book, and then we are extending it with subject. So a textbook has to be of a subject, say programming or math. And then down here, we are also including string S for subject and then show information. And then in our textbook CPP, we are extending this to include our subject as well. So we call the parent constructor, then we set the subject. And down here, Same with what we did for the fiction. Now there's a bit of changes here. We are saying the show actually um, display our textbook with title and subject in addition to the price and quantity. So now we're going to our main, and then inside our main, we are using the we are using a vector to store our books, and this is we are using an if statement to check if one or two things are being met first before we proceed. So here it says we are checking if there are any books first. Then if there is no books, then we see out, inventory is empty. And here we are using a loop here as well. And here we are using polymorphism. So we can call um, we can call we can do the same call with different outputs. So basically, we'll call the book fiction books show info, just like I have the comment here, or textbook show info, and it will display information based on that. So it won't be the same. The show information we'll get won't be the same. So if you can recall, we had a show information in fiction book and textbook, and they were displaying different stuff. So that's how it's going to work. So instead of displaying a specific thing, it's going to display something based off of this fiction book or textbook. And here we are adding up the total of everything, which is the quantity multiplied by the price and stuff like that. So here we are adding a user, or sorry, we are adding a new book to our storage. And if you can see here, we are accepting a type, a string title, and a double price in quantity. So if you can recall the base class, let me go back into the base class books title, and then let me see. Let's continue. Okay. Okay, so yes. So we have the base class had um title, price, quantity, and here we are displaying some stuff to the user, and we are saying user should enter title, price, and stuff like that. And then we run some if statements to determine specifically which kind of book they are trying to add to the inventory. So based on the type of book they want to add to the inventory, you can see this extra here telling us that for something like inventory, starting with an A and then a semicolon telling us that A, as we can recall from the inventory, was author. So based on the type of information or the type of re- response the user gives for the programs or to the program, say if the user selected that he's entering um, a specific type of book at a specific place, for instance, this place you are saying if the type is one, then these are some of the things you are requiring from the user. So in here, if the type is one, then we know that the user is trying to save um, a fiction book. So we want to include the extra thing that we added in the fiction C++, which was the author, to extend it. But then since the base class doesn't include that, we have to use the extra so that it knows that there's other stuff that will also be adding to that class to save in the storage. And also same here, we are doing same for S, which is the subject for textbook. And these are just functions to remove book, and this is something to display inventory, and also some if statements here. And then we finally get into our main actual program. So I'm going to run the program. But then first off, we have one or two stuff already in there. We don't want to start off empty, so we have one or two stuff there. So okay, so previously I was already um okay, so I'm going to price, and then first of all, we are going to display what we have in the inventory, and you can see everything being displayed here. The two things we have in there. Second, we are going to add a book, and it acts as fiction, book, or textbook. So let's see fiction, and because this is fiction, we are going to be required to enter I think an author as well. So you go for one, say the title. I'll say access for price and quantity. Now access for author. So I say DC, and then we have it says fiction book added. So let's redisplay, and then we can see our fiction book here, and let's monitor this price here, 499. Let's add another one, which is let's add one more book for textbook. So just title price quantity subject. Okay, so now our previous total was 499.2092. So I'm going to display books, and then finally we are going to see an increment in the final price here because we added extra. So as we add, it keeps on compounding and calculating the the price, mm, the prices of books in the inventory. So we are going to then remove, which is the third one, remove a book. So it asks for enter book number to remove. So let's remove the fourth book, which is the cockerel. And then it says book removed. So let's display to see if it's done. So actually you can see we are back here. There's no fourth book, and our price from the previous is still the same, 499 without the pop row. So the last thing here is to exit the program. Exit. So we just put in for, and yeah, we are out of the program. So that's it for this um, book inventory program. Book inventory program, and then how to run the book inventory program, and then uh, how to run it is in the readme readme here, and then everything used in making this as well is in the readme. So yeah,